Hello everybody, we are here with the newest patch, guys, patch 3.8. We're bringing the Vikings, and most importantly, there is a Ratatoskr rework, which we will get to, guys, at the end. Everything else not nearly as exciting as the Ratatoskr rework, and I promise that he's not completely broken. Anyway, let's move on here. We've got ourselves a chalk skin, guys. This is part of the new, what should I call it? New skin sets we've got coming out. So how this works basically, guys, is there's going to be 2 tiers of skins for chalk and collie. This is the base skin. This is basically taking gods and reworking them into different pantheons, skin-wise, to make them feel like a different pantheon. This is all going to be part of a bundle for 900 gems. It's 2 skins you get initially. Then if you complete a set of quests, you can get another 2 skins. There's a bunch of things. There's a Ymir announcer pack. There's a border. There's a pedestal, a music theme, all kinds of stuff. So that chalk skin is my personal favorite out of all the skins available. Well, not that chick. The next chalk skin, honestly. That's a great skin. The next chalk skin, this is the, if you complete the entire quest line, basically, you get this chalk skin, which is basically chalk on roids compared to the last skin. It's like, hey, I'm a cool tribal chalk. And this guy's like, yo, yeah, I'm your chief, and I'm going to come down and beat that ass. Put your face right into the grass. But anyway, amazing skins coming out this patch of chalk and collie. Out of the 2 collie skins, I thought that actually the second one was a little bit disappointing. This is the first one, and this skin is hot. And I mean hot in like every way you can use the word hot. This skin is badass. She is sexy. In game, it looks on point, and it basically looks like her and like Woojer are going beyond the wall, Game of Thrones style, and pulling like a Jon Snow Ygritte dude, showing, you know, Jon Snow that he knows nothing. I'm gonna show you, Jon. But seriously, this skin is sick. Her next tier that you get towards the end of the quest line, if you complete it, is I don't think as cool. More elegant, looks more like she's like a chief leader of a tribe, you know, decked out in more ornate substances. But personally, I think that more tribal look is just way cooler. Also in these skins, we have a tier 2 and her skin. Are you going to use this skin over your, you know, Spaceman and her? No, you're not. Are you going to use over, you know, Olympian and her? Probably not, but it's a tier 2 skin. If you like and her, go for it. More importantly, we have a tier 2 Hui skin. As far as tier 2s go, pretty sick skin. Bow looks sweet. He's got a pretty cool helmet on. Cool card. Tier 2 skins, you know, they're always kind of like, sure, whatever. And finishing up, we have a really good card. A really good card. We have the gold legendary diamond skins for Scotty, which are really for Koldir. Koldir's runes on his body as well change colors depending on the skin you're using. So there'll be gold on him, or there'll be silver on him, or there'll be black on him, depending on what skin you use, which is actually really cool. So how about that for some functionality there? Moving on, new Cutesy icon. We have Cutesy Freya, which you can see here. There's Cutesy Medusa, Cutesy Thor. There might be one more, but now they're coming out with Cutesy Freya as well. So congrats, you can get some Cutesy skins. I don't know if this will be publicly available. The other one I don't think were. But there you go, Cutesy Freya. So like I talked about earlier, Viking invasion. Think about the event we just did. What was it? The Hell event. Hell rising over in Hades and Arachne and all those people. Kind of like that, but honestly it looks cooler. Less about completing these really hard things and more about completing little itty-bitty tasks to kind of move forward. And then, of course, just purchasing it all together at first. So it is 900 gems, okay? 900 gems, and you get the tier 1 chalk and the tier 1 collie. You've got to go through the quest line to get the second skins of those. So that's 4 skins there, possible if you do all the stuff. You get a ward skin, a pedestal, a loading frame, Ymir announcer pack, which I think everybody wants, let's be real, and the Norse Seafarer music theme. So then, as you complete the quest lines, you get bonus favor for completing the quests. You get 2 Viking chests, so extra skins there. Plus, like I said, you get the extra 2 skins that we saw earlier, the tier 2 chalk and collie. I say tier 2, I mean like next tier above that other skin. So that's a lot of stuff for 900 gems. As far as value goes, it's incredibly valuable. 900 gems can be a lot for people, but if you have the gems, I mean, this is going to be the biggest bang for your buck outside of things like the season ticket. Moving onward, anybody that plays on Mac, which is nobody right now, but if you have friends that have Mac, if you have relatives, whatever, if you yourself have a computer that you wanted to play instead on a Mac, there you go. They're doing beta access for Mac soon, so it'll be coming to a different, a little different system there. It'll be available on Steam through Mac with Smite. Something like that. Miscellaneous. Only thing that really matters here is corrected an issue where some gods were being forced into restricted camera pitch during their ultimates. This specifically being Rom and Jing Wei were being forced into restricted camera pitch during their ultimates, which made it pretty awkward for some people who are trying to use those abilities. Achievements are really exciting, and you can pause the video if you want to read them, but you don't want to read them, so you're not going to pause this video, are you? Okay, into item changes. Not too many item or god changes this patch outside of the Ratatoskr rework, guys. They're trying not to change anything too close to DreamHack. Haha, haha. They brought speed buff back last patch. But anyway, that was their official last big patch, and now we are on to tinier movements around the board. Can we bring this item into the meta? Can we take this item out of the meta? This god, whatever. So Mystical Mail, reduce the cost by 150 and increase the physical protections by 10. Maybe trying to get solo laners to pick up Mystical Mail more often. Could it be picked up now? Possibly. 10 protections is actually a big deal. Considering you went from 30 to 40, that's a pretty big increase. Gold, not so much a big of a deal, but combined with the physical protections is pretty nice. Soul Eater getting a strange change that I don't think is going to matter for it, but interesting. Reduced the health threshold, that's a hard one, for passive to activate from 50 to 25. So basically with Soul Eater, you build up stacks. When you got down to X health, which was 50%, you would heal back up. But you'd lose your stacks, and those stacks gave you stuff that you wanted, damage-wise. Now it's 25%, so you can keep the damage a little bit longer, and then you heal up at 25%, and instead of being 1 health per stack, now it's 1.5. So you get about 25% health back, so you heal from about 25% to 50 instead of from like 50 to 70. Overall, beneficial change for Soul Eater, but not necessarily going to bring it back. Golden Sash seeing a weird change, okay? Weird. Interesting, but weird. Reduced cost from 1450 to 1350. Now, at first, you might say, holy crap, you can get that plus 2 health potions and a mana potion and go to lane and try to, get it really fast, Warlock Slash? Yes. But think about it this way. You also lose 25 health and mana now. Instead of 200 at that tier, it's 175. It still provides the magical power, which I want to say off the top of my head is 30. It might not be 30, but I'm pretty sure it's 30. Interesting path to go down. The problem is, if you do this, it means you're not doing the Soulstone Purple Pot start or the Soulstone Doom Orb start, something of that sort, which means you're going to be losing the early clear. But if you cannot get your butt completely kicked for the first 5 minutes and you finish that Golden Sash at 4 minutes, start stacking that, you're going to be real tanky. I'm thinking I'm really liking this option for gods like Zhong Kui. I think he'll really thrive by just going immediately into Golden Sash. Hell, even Zeus might like this kind of option, who already has great clear. Get him tanky right off the bat so he can't kill Zeus. Can you imagine not being able to kill Zeus, dude? It sounds like living hell, dude. I can only play Zeus, though, so what do I know? Interesting. Spectral Armor fixed an issue with this item's passive can be activated without using a relic. Yeah, that probably shouldn't happen, considering that's the entirety of the item. God changes. Agni. They decided they wanted Agni to be a hunter now, so they increased his attack speed and attack speed scaling again, while reducing his magical power scaling so he can be more focused on autos. I'm just kidding. I'm making fun of their last patch with Agni. What they did do was increase the scaling on Flame Wave, which is Agni's 2, from 50% to 65%. Early game, this is a little bit effective. It depends exactly how much more damage he's doing. Obviously 15% more. But in terms of your magical power, if you go Soulstone, Purple Pot with your red buff, you're going to have 100 10 power, give or take, plus the Soulstone proc, you're having like 160 power, give or take. So instead of getting an 80 bonus damage, you're getting like 95 bonus damage. Does that extra 15 damage clear a wave a level early? Maybe, but that's going to be all stuff we have to do in theory crafting. I don't expect this to be too important. Agni needed the buff. Honestly, he hasn't been played, I don't think, at all on SPL, one of like 10 characters or something. Cabrakan getting the best change out of anybody here. I don't care what you say. I've been asking for this change for I don't know how long. It ain't even that big of a deal, but thank the Lord that Cabrakan's passive now applies to himself. Thank Baba Yetu, dude. Pray to Cubo Fred and his Cabrakan jungle. He now gets 5% damage reduction. Hallelujah. They also redid the damage on his Refraction Shield and Seismic Crush. Basically, they do like an 80 bit more damage. In actuality, what they were doing was they were trying to make the increase of the damage as you level it consistent compared to what it was before. It would increase like 25 damage, and then 50, and then like 50 again, and then like 25 again, and like just like weird numbers, like 60, and then 40, and I was like, why are these so weird? So basically they made it increase by the exact same interval every single level, so it's a lot easier to make sense of the god. Which ended up being a slight buff. Overall, Cabrakan gets a big buff this patch. 5% less damage taken, period, plus like a couple extra damage on his 2 abilities. I'm down. Cupid getting an interesting change. Reduce the casting time on Field of Love to 0. Okay? Instant cast on his ultimate, but the 0.3 second casting time that was at the start is now at the end. So basically all this means is that you can't start casting Cupidal and then get interrupted and it doesn't come down. The second you see the animation or hear the animation from Cupid, ultimate is down no matter what, even if you get CC'd afterwards, but you will still have that small interval where you can't auto-attack / cast any other abilities. Fenrir. Getting a tiny buff doesn't really matter. Base mana pool increased by 30, increased MP5 by 0.5. If mana was the reason why you weren't doing well on Fenrir, you're not going to be doing well on Fenrir again. I'm telling you right now, mana wasn't your problem. If you think mana was your problem, mana wasn't your problem. Kali getting a couple bug fixes. Updated tooltip for clarity. Fixed Kali receiving Bloodforge passive on assists if the target is her passive mark. So Bloodforge gives a bulwark shield basically. She was getting you're supposed to get the shield on kills. She was getting it on her passive proc, which obviously is OP. So that's not happening anymore. Also, she was getting the wrong XP and gold values from assists. So there you go, fixed. Medusa, achievement fixed. Congratulations. Posei Sai actually getting a pretty decent buff. Reduced mana costs on Tidal Surge and Whirlpool, who cares? More importantly, Tidal Meter of Surge and Whirlpool were both reduced by 5%. That is Poseidon's passive. The higher your Tidal Meter, the more damage your abilities do. This also means that Tidal Surge plus Whirlpool plus Kraken is now 100% of your Tidal Meter instead of 110%. Because why was that ever 110%? That doesn't make any sense. And Scotty fixed some issues with health bars, fixed issues with Calder's health bar, Grats. Susano also not getting any changes. They fixed an issue where he could get stuck inside towers and phoenixes, which is a bit silly, so I'm glad that's fixed. But he's not getting any buffs or nerfs this patch. As it turns out, apparently statistically, Susano's pretty smooth right now around the middle mark. So they're not going to touch him yet. They're going to see how he plays out and continue to let people to learn with him and get used to him in different roles. So you get to deal with that for another month or so in casual queues. Now, that's all the patch notes except for our Ratatoskr rework all the way at the top, guys. So, Ratatoskr got rework. His abilities are the same, but not. So, let's talk about it. He does start with an acorn still, but he no longer has acorn trees. There is a single acorn path. It is, I believe, 1,600 gold. It gives 50 physical power and 20% movement speed. So it is 10 physical power more than Boots. It is 2% more movement speed than Boots, and it is 50 more gold than Warrior Tabi. So about the same as Boots. He cannot buy Boots anymore. Ratatoskr cannot buy Boots, so you can't pair that with Boots for 38% movement speed. Can't do it. Thank the Lord. Okay, so that's good. Dart. Dart is similar. You can no longer use it more than once. It is a single line ability with the typical 55-meter range there on it. Decent damage with good scaling. It has a slow that scales as you level it. It's a 3-second slow, up to 40%, which is really strong. It dashes through minions and hits gods. Okay. The dart cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds for each enemy hit by your other 2 abilities. So think Guan Yu, how Guan Yu's abilities kind of get reduced by using abilities and hitting other gods or healing your teammates. Same thing with Dart, except for his other 2 abilities just reduce his Dart cooldown. Also to be noted, when you build your Acorn on Rat, basically the passive on it is you get self-healing. This is a 20 base plus 40% physical power, and all of your abilities activate it. So it's just a built-in self-heal, not nearly as strong as the old green Acorn, but an okay heal just to have this passive healing as you're using abilities. So we have Dart, not too crazy, has a slow, does good damage, can be really low cooldown if you build cooldown is 12 seconds. Let's assume you build the 40% cooldown, so you're down to about 7 seconds. You hit your 2 abilities on multiple gods, it's up again. You cast it, you do another ability, it's almost up again. You can use it a lot. Flurry. Ratatoskr spins around in a flurry of attacks, damaging nearby enemies. Think Tail Whip Radius, but think Guan Yu Talon Assault. It's just a constant stream of stuff. This does damage, plus 20% of your physical power, but it goes 4 times, so it's 80% physical power. But it also reduces their protections by percentage up to 4 times. So I guess it's 6, 12, 18, 24% armor reduction on that ability. That's a lot. 24% armor pan on an ability is a lot. As far as I'm aware, you cannot use this ability and attack at the same time. It seems to work like Talon Assault, where once you do it, you're in the casting animation and you're just kind of spinning around in circles doing that, although I can't confirm that. So, we've got a slow, we've got built-in sustain, we've got armor shred. Alright, we've got a lot of stuff going on in this kit. So what's our Acorn Blast? Acorn Blast. Rat shoots a blast of 3 acorns forward in the cone. Way skinnier than the cone used to be. Damage is okay. 110 plus 30% for each, so it can be a pretty good damage burst. Enemies hit by more than 1 acorn take additional damage, so you can get, with the multiple damage. But enemies hit by all 3 are stunned for 1 second. So, we've got a slow, we've got armor shred, we've got a stun, and we got a self-heal. Okay? And of course, this all reduces the cooldown of your dart, so you can continually slow people. Finishing up, we didn't change the ultimate basically at all, except when you land from your ultimate, now it is a knock-up. Because this new Ratatoskr kit did not have enough crowd control, so when you land from your ultimate, you will knock somebody up, so you can immediately smack them with your Acorn Blast when they come down, so you can stun them, follow it up with a dart so they're slowed, and finish them off with a flurry. Except for you should probably use your flurry earlier because it gives you physical shred. So do that. Don't do what I just said. But you can CC combo a whole bunch. Also use your dart earlier because your other abilities reduce this cooldown. Don't wait to use it like last. New Ratatoskr on the whole looking extremely strong. His voice pack's the same. His character model's the same. His ability pictures are the same. It's just a little bit of changes throughout them. Overall, Ratatoskr coming to a jungle near you. And as Divios would say, coming to a solo lane near you. Because he looks real strong and he's got a lot of CC for an assassin. Thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know what you think about this new patch, guys, down in the comments. And this patch should be live on Tuesday. If you're watching this, then that means it's probably coming up in about a week if you're watching this on the day it came out. But otherwise, it's coming out real soon if you're catching this a little bit later. But thank you guys for watching, and thank you everybody who subscribes to the channel. And as always, have a twitching day, y'all.